Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Untitled Reviews. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are dramas. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Kung Fu. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Well, first and foremost, I love that opening of just like the entire family together working to track down Mia. It's like, right, we got to look through all these John Lu's. It's like, all right, this person, I can't be this person, has to be this specific blood type, has to be part of the Guardian family, had to have at least lived outside of the country, because we know that John Lu's been all over Asia. So going from different people to people, like Mei Li's talking to someone's like, oh, I don't understand the dialect. Jen talks in Cantonese. He's like, no, it's not Cantonese either. And then like, Nikki's like, oh, it might be Hakka. That's what Henry's grandmother spoke. So pass the phone. I'm like, them being this well-oiled machine. And I think that's the beauty of it. Knowing like, right, the entire family came together. Ryan's looking through medical research off-site to, you know, help out too. So it's like, it's a beautiful thing seeing like the entire family coming together, because it's like, right, we got to do this. Russell's after Mia, we've got to find her. And I thought that was such a beautiful thing. It also plays into something I think is something I never knew, because I'm very ignorant of a lot of, obviously, you know, all I really know is America, which yes, America is a blending pot, like a melting pot of so many different cultures, but when you don't spend enough time around stuff, you never realize and know stuff. Like I was ignorant, I've only found out more recent years, just knowing like, right, I guess I was always under the impression like dialects were almost like accents. So it's like, oh, like you're from a specific spot in Japan and like maybe like your accent's a little different somewhere else, or same thing in India. Like I didn't realize that pretty much dialects are almost like they're a whole other language themselves. Like just because you live in the same country doesn't mean anything. Like just this perfect example of Mandarin, Cantonese, or Hakka. Like it's just so many like it's to the point like it's like, right, one language might not be able to, you can pick up on certain things, but it's like, the dialect, I can't quite pin down what it is. So it's almost like its own language. And I think that's such a cool thing. I know that's a big thing in, like, you know, obviously in China, it's a big thing in India. So I think that's such a fascinating element to know that, you know? Because I think even to an extent, isn't like, if you can, like, Welsh is almost its own language too. Like it's not just like, oh, you have a Welsh accent. It's like, yeah, there's certain words. I think they're even Welsh. It's like there's certain things that like it's almost its own language. I think maybe that's just more ignorance on my part, but I thought that was such a fascinating like educational thing of like, oh yeah, like reminding you like, right, like just because like just how different the language barrier can be within your own country. It's fascinating. So I just thought that was such an interesting element, but I just thought that was just, once again, the beautiful nature. It's like, all right, I got this. No, I got this. Like, everyone doing their part. And obviously even getting Evan's help, which obviously he's ready to face the consequences of the fallout for helping, for helping out delete Henry's car from the footage. But once again, I figured as much last episode. I need to remember Nadia's name. I keep blanking on Nadia's name, but Nadia is still his inside source, and I love that when Delia Hughes catches her, she's like, oh, I sent some inappropriate pictures to Evan, and she's like, right, I knew there was something between you two. Get out. She's like, okay, and I think that probably, it's like, right, at least Evan still has one insider looking into this whole Tan thing, so keeping him apprised of probably like what's going on and stuff, so because they're aware of Evan because of his connection to Nikki, but they don't know about Nadia being a part of this as well. So that's kind of neat, and I think that's going to be an element being more and more as they progress. But ultimately, they ended up pinning down exactly where Mia might be. They found the John who fits, so they end up going there. And I love that when they stop on their way to get gas, Nikki sees Paylene. I was like, oh my god, I thought she'd never see her again. But it's like, right, even she was like, I never thought it. It's like, right, even if you can't see me, like, I'm always with you. And she's there when Nikki's worried, because Nikki had even talked to her mom. It's like, my approach to Mia didn't work last time. She still ran away. And now she's worried, like, maybe I should have gone slower. Like, I now in retrospect, like, I was so busy trying to think, like, what role am I supposed to approach Mia with? Family, her protector, a teacher. But Paylene was telling her, like, because Nikki understood, right, I don't know anything about her. It's like, right, you need to be more fluid. Because she was like, I shouldn't have trusted my instincts were wrong. It's like, but your instincts are fluid. They adapt and grow just as you do. So you are someone who learns from your mistakes. So be a little bit more fluid and kind of allow it to be Mia's decision. So I thought that was beautiful, you know, and I like that element, because I thought because she was with Jilon this season so far, I was like, right, Nikki doesn't need her master anymore. But it's like, no, I will always need the lessons, that you will always be a part of me. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing, because I think we are going to see her bounce back and forth. She'll probably pop in here and there for Nikki, but it's like, right, Nikki's on the right path. She just needs a little nudge in the right direction sometimes. Jilon's the one that needs the most help. Which I do love that they run into each other. The moment Jilon popped up, I was like, yeah! Because I didn't expect them to meet face to face. Of course, they were both going after Mia, because Jilon still doesn't know that she knows that Mia's important to the plan, but because Kerwin didn't know, so Kerwin imparted all that information to her, but she's hearing that information secondhand from Kerwin, who still didn't know that Mia was family to Nikki, so... Of course, Jilon wouldn't either, so she was able to track down some leads and got here. Sadly, it turns out Mia's dad betrayed her. And the moment, because the interesting thing is, she was like, right, real family. I was like, you do have real family. That's kind of messed up, but I get it. This is, like, it's different. That side of your family, that's extended family. This is your main family. I get it. Like, as your mom is going, so you want your dad, you have your dad. So... you want your dad in your life because he's your actual dad. It's like, this is someone who is a part of you that is like, right, you guys are family, but you're strangers to me. And that's the reason why she left, because it's like, right, she thought like, right, you guys aren't real family. The sad thing is, this real family is doing so much for you, but you don't realize it. Because, I mean, and it's almost like this poetic story of like, right, you go looking for your real family, and it's the real family you find along the way, which is, it kind of works and kind of doesn't in this case, because they are real family. That's her cousins and her aunt. You know, and so, regardless, but Mia learned so much from her dad that he had the crossbow all those years ago. Him and Meishi, like, decided to go separate because, once again, because the very reason why Russell is after her right now. Someone born from the warrior bloodline and the guardian bloodline, that's too rare, and someone would take advantage of that. He stayed behind, lost the crossbow, but he's like, at the very least, I knew that at least you and your mom got away. I don't know if he knew about Meishi dying, and it was like, because Mia's like, oh, right, did someone, bury her? If I remember correctly, that guy who liked her, is he the one who buried her? Because everyone's under the impression Mia's the one that buried her, but it was like, no. I guess, because I don't remember, the guy they met last season, Henry, Evan, and, Nikki, did he bury her? Because he definitely had a thing for her, but nothing ever really happened. Obviously, she kept her distance for her reasons, but... I want to say it had to be him, because if it wasn't... Because I think everyone was kind of under the impression later on, at least I was under the impression like Mia did it, but I don't remember if he ever said he's the one that actually buried her, because I think he found her body or something. I don't remember now. It's because she was asking like, oh, did he do it? But her dad was like, no, I didn't bury her. Because that's why I'm like, did he not know about her being dead? Well, he found out recently that she died. Because it turns out he was working with Russell because Russell threatened. Because the moment Mia was like, oh, this is your wife. And the moment he got a little defensive about it, I was like, it is interesting she's not. Because at first I was like, oh, did she die or something? But it's because it was a tough subject. Because it's like, right, he knows he's going to have to sell out his own daughter for his wife. Makes you wonder, did they have any more children? It didn't seem like it. Because I feel like that would have come up because it's like, because it probably would have rubbed her the wrong way too. It's like, wait, you never came to look for me. Yes, despite my circumstances, that I understand, but it's also like, right, you have kids? Probably would have rubbed her the wrong way. So he probably never wanted to have kids just because it's like, right, I couldn't be there for the daughter I had. And maybe him and his new wife had just made that decision like, right, maybe just aside from all that, maybe they just didn't want kids in general. Maybe she didn't want them and he was okay with that. Or maybe he didn't want them and she was like, no, I respect that and I'm okay with it because I don't want kids either. Or I just, whatever the case may be. But he sold her out because Russell killed Meishi, and it's like, I didn't want to take the chance he'd kill the woman I love, so you ended up separate. The sad thing is, it's a daughter you don't have a special attachment to. She's still your daughter. You feel bad about what you did, but this is still someone you don't know. Because at the end of the day, and that's the heartbreaking thing for me, it's like, I left behind everyone back in San Francisco to come here to find you, to find a piece of myself, and just for you to sell me out, because in the end, we're supposed to be real family, but we're kind of almost strangers to each other still, which is heartbreaking. And it's interesting how that kind of ties in, I think, a little bit interestingly enough with Henry's. We still don't know what Henry's circumstances are with his dad, but knowing that there's elements there is fascinating. Of there's something going on with his dad's mixed up in something. I don't think it's Russell Tan related. It might be something else, but the fact is specifically getting him away from Nikki Shin seems like there might be, at least now sitting on it for a week, it does seem like there might be some correlation there. He might be working with Russell, so we'll see. I don't know, like I said, they make it sound like this is some Destiny thing of like, maybe working with Russell is fulfilling some long-time Destiny / mission that they're a part of. Once again, maybe it could be a separate thing. We'll have to circle back to that when it pops up in the show to really get a definitive answer on that. But, yeah, Jilan and Nikki having to work together, these sworn enemies, because it's like, yeah, I haven't forgotten the fact that you kill so many. You've been responsible for killing so many innocent people. Let's also note who's one of those people. My Sifu, your sister. And also notice that, like, Nikki could have thrown all the shade on Jilan, then being like, oh, you want to know the people she's hurt? One of those people is, I went after her for revenge. And you know who she killed? My master. You know, so her own... Listen to this, Mia. She killed her own sister. Do you really want to trust someone who killed their own sister? But, like, Nikki didn't go to that. She just talked about Jilan isn't a trustworthy person. And even, like, you know, wanted to threaten to torture one of Russell's people. But she's like, no, I'm not going to, like, sit by and let you do that. So she ends up talking to the guy. And he's like, right, Russell pays well. It's like, yeah, but Russell's going to kill you, you know, right? He's going to assume you talked. Even if you didn't, he can't trust that you didn't. And in turn... you know how Russell feels towards people who fail him, so he will kill you. Granted, you're not family. He'll let that slide. He was upset with Kerwin, but, you know, he never killed Kerwin. But, you know, obviously Kerwin's pretty much dead to him now. But it's like, right, I will give you a chance to live. You know, that woman, she will cut off all your fingers and toes, everything she can to get you to talk. So I will give you a chance to live. So he gives her the information. So Henry has to stay behind, but it's like, right, you can't trust Jilan. It's like, I know, but I've got a plan. I was curious what was going to happen there. But, Nikki and Jilan, and I love that Jilan was like ready. She got the gun ready. It's like, no, we're not doing that. We're not killing anyone. It's like, all right, fine. She's like, I do like a challenge after all. And that's the crazy thing. They make quite a damn team. It's almost befitting. They are like distant relatives. But also it's like, right, aside from just that, her sister trained you too. So it's like, it's almost probably like a weird way. It's almost like fighting alongside her sister. But regardless, both of them wreck shot. Every time Nikki goes for the legs, I'm like, sweep the legs. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know why. Like, I'm obsessed with that move. I don't know why. Sweep the legs is just the coolest thing to me. Like, to me, I think the coolest thing is just, like, if you're able to slow-mo it, like, sweep the leg. Like, if you have, like, super speed, sweep the legs, and then, like, punch someone to the ground. Like, I think that's, like, the coolest, like, 1-2 punch. But it's like, they work so well. And I think that's almost the yin and yang of it, of like, yo, these two are so polar opposites. They are connected. I mean, it's very yin and yang because there's always a little bit of like light and dark. Even with light, there's a little bit of darkness. Even with darkness, there's a little bit of light. And that's so representative of both of them. So I love that they work so well because they are polar opposites, but there is some, you know, just how that works is so beautiful. I'm like, and then Jilan doing her thing, taking advantage of it. Oh, Mia, I saved you. I'm a friend. Completely ignoring Nikki because you're like, of course you're going to take advantage of this. I was so certain. I was like, I wouldn't go with her. Like, wouldn't the easiest thing be just to kill her? But it's like, no, like, because someone had been like, oh, they figured the storyline was going to be that Jilan's going to protect her. And she was kind of going down that route. So he's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect you. But it's like, yeah, but are you going to be okay with her killing people in the process? I do love that Nikki, like, tracked her down because, like, right, she put Henry's watch on the back of her bike and tracked her. It's like, yeah, I knew I need to keep an eye on you. I'm like, yo, pretty sneaky, Nikki. But yeah, she tells Mia, it's like, right, you can't trust Jilan. She is someone that will stab anyone in the back. She stabbed me in the back. So you can't trust someone like that. Even she left out the part that we were working together to save you, didn't she? It's like, because she's trying to get you to trust her. It's like, yeah, I braved all of those men, all of Russell Tan's men alone. It's like, yeah, not giving Nikki any credit. Because it's like you wanted to build up a rapport and trust. If Nikki was there, it's like, wait, you know her, so it's easier a rapport for her to most likely choose Nikki, especially because Nikki was like, right, let her choose. It's like, oh, you must be saying it because you're so confident she'll choose you. But I thought, and I still have this up there being like, if given the opportunity, Jilin would kill Mia. Because it's like, right, I think if she got Mia away, because she knew eventually Nikki might track her down, so it's like, right, we got to get out of here. It's just a temporary safe space. I don't know. I don't 100% trust Jilin yet. I think her journey this season is going to be her redemption arc. Maybe. But we'll see. I even love Nikki threw shade at her. I was like, yeah, of course, setting fires would be your thing. It's like, yeah, wouldn't be the first time she did it, huh? But Nikki and her fight it out a little bit, but then Mia steps in. Mia super punches her too, like across the room. It's like I guess some of that latent warrior and guardian, like it kind of gave her she has heightened abilities, I think, but she probably can't fully control it. They probably come out in like heightened motion moments, just like any superpower type of thing. But Mia in the end chooses Nikki, but Nikki's like, right, at the end of the day, you have to make the choice. I don't want to make the choice for you. The fact is that I know we're not family to you right now, but we would like to be. We'll be there to help you. Like so many people gathered together, that family, to help you. And for me, it's like, they're not mad. It's like, of course not. It's like, they're my family. They're pretty good about the whole like dealing with someone running away. So it's like, right, Mia knows, like, right, you ran away, so she's understandable. Because for Mia, it's like, where do I go? I have nowhere else to go. I can't turn to my dad. He ended up selling me out. So will they have an opportunity to repair their relationship? Once again, mirroring a little bit with Henry. We'll see where things kind of go from there. What's going to happen? I'm sure his wife got released, but there's also the possibility Russell might kill. I don't see him doing that, but they'll probably have to like disappear, like again, to stay off of Russell's radar. Because he only reached out to him like a few months ago because he found out about Mia's existence. And also the fact is that he's the one that killed Mei Shi. So, but she made the choice, like, she picked this family. And I think, jumping ahead at the end of the episode, I was like, that was so beautiful, the entire family together, laughing and joking. And, like, it's so good. It makes you go, it's so beautiful. You're just like, that's so awesome. And the family, obviously, are dealing with other things. Let's start off with Althea, dealing with things. I love that she's got her entire company working out of her living room, but it's like, right, they've got power outlets and the power surges. It's a mess. You trip over one thing, you unplug the whole operation. And then this is like, right, we can't do this, keep doing this. We're literally going to burn the house down, and Althea's waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect idea. It's just like nothing's working out because she's putting all her money into this and doesn't really have enough money spared over to really pay for something expensive, like as an office space. So she's trying to figure out what to do. Lo and behold, who comes to the rescue? Her dad. He's like, oh, I know just a guy. I was like, Frank? And it ends up being Frank. The person who's going to buy it pulled out, and it's almost beneficial because now it's like, right, he's like, yeah, I just want a place to be a little quiet. She's like, what we do is like, we'll be quiet as mice. He's like, good. Like, I'm glad to keep it in the community, like, rather than it kind of be like because I think that Chinatown already has to deal with like gentrification already. Plus, like, Russell's buying up all that territory for his own reasons, but I'm sure like he's helping with the gentrification and stuff like that. But hearing that idea of like, right, staying like the community, and that comes up with an app idea, which I think is, Althea's idea. It's about community, and her, what was the app called? Like, I Know Someone. I like that. It is a thing of, yes, social media in general yes, it'll be like, oh, here's some people you might know, just like, especially if you link certain other social medias together. But some social medias are kind of built around the fact of like, yeah, your circle and then expanding out. Others are just kind of like, yeah, just reaching general people across the world with common interests. Hers is about like reaching people with common interests, getting to know your neighbors so that way it stays in the community, basing the operation out of their community in Chinatown. I think that's so beautiful. And I'm like, that's so neat, because it is a thing that, yeah, we tend to not know our neighbors. That ends up being an element of, yes, it's a very old school mentality of like, oh, hi there, neighbor, you moved into the area, we're dropping something off. Yes, it's something you see in the movies and stuff like that, but I do believe that was probably a very old fashioned thing to do, getting to know your neighbors. And I think that is a dying aspect of society. I know I help contribute to that dying because I don't know my neighbors, but I'm also the social recluse that I am. So it's kind of, I don't know anyone. So it's not, not like that's a defense, but still, it's like, I don't really get outside of myself anyway, or really go out or really reach. I'm not a social butterfly. I'm a social butterfly with clipped wings. Let's say that. I mean, let's say I never, at the very least, I never grew my social wings. Let's say that. Like, that's a little less disturbing than like thinking of like a butterfly with clipped wings. Let's not use that metaphor. But I never grew my metaphorical social wings. So I thought the idea Althea has is kind of beautiful, and presenting it to everybody, and everyone on her team is on board. Now they have a space they're moving into next week. It all worked out, and I thought that was beautiful. At the same time, you have Mei Lee dealing with a competition. It's a company that's basically stolen a lot of their ideas and presentation, and it's like, there's so much similarity, but it's not enough for copyright infringement. It turns out one of their previous cooks they had to let go is now working there, and she probably gave them all our recipes. And so Mei Ling is struggling with that because there's so much she's already dealing with. The whole worried about Mia thing. She's running the place without Jen. I mean, obviously, but it's like, it's comforting having your business partner, like someone who's been here with you since the building. Like, he's been there with her from the ground up. Like, them together has been the foundation to this company, to their restaurant. And handling on her own has been a bit of a, new adjustment. So, but luckily she has Sebastian to be like, all right, let's test out the dumplings. And she's like, what? I'm not going to eat them. It's like, come on, just one. She's like, fine, just one. And taste them. It's like, it's not terrible. But then they point out like, right, this isn't good. They're cheaping out on the pork. And ultimately Sebastian's like, right, they're missing the special sauce. And that is you, Mei Lee. You are what makes the dumplings what they are. So she's like, right, I overreacted. It's because even Sebastian was like, right, imitation basically is the form is a form of flattery, right? I butchered the saying, but he's like, right, if you weren't as successful as you were, they wouldn't be coming for the throne. Like, they wouldn't be trying to snatch the crown from you, would you? It's only a byproduct of being the best in town. But with Sebastian's help, Mei Lee feels a lot better. Like, no, like, I do owe you a lot. And for Sebastian, this job means the world to him because, and I even love that plays into the Ryan thing, because Ryan was like, right, we kind of felt something, I kind of felt something, but yeah, like, we can move past it, we could get rid of some of this awkwardness. And you can tell the way Sebastian's acting, like, oh, he does like you, it's just he was, he felt conflicted about it. And now we got a better understanding of what that hot and cold was about. Is because I work for your mom, dude. No matter how much I find you attractive and how much I might like you, I don't want to ruin things because your mom is the truest form of a chef. And the fact is, I respect her so much. I've always bounced from job to job for after a couple months. This is a place I found where, like, I love the environment. I love the restaurant. I love being under, like, your mom's reign. Like, your mom is so good that I'm just like, I want to stay here. This is a job I can see myself working at more than just a few months. He found, like, a culinary home. And he doesn't want to mess that up by dating the boss's son. So, he's like, that'd be a terrible idea no matter how I feel about you. Ryan kisses him. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, terrible idea. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. So things are bubbling there. I even love Althea's like, oh, you have some fun. He's almost like, what? She's like, yeah. And he adjusts his hair. He's like, I'll tell you about it later. Which I'm like, hey! So things are kind of working on all fronts. I thought that was pretty dope. So I thought that just like all around this was like a great episode of just like everyone kind of moving, taking their steps forward in all these different directions and everything kind of working and panning out. And I just thought it was just a beautiful episode. Like, they don't know how to stop Russell yet, but currently it's like, right. And I can't even guarantee that Nikki was like, I can't guarantee I'll always be able to protect you, but me and my family, we will do our best. We'll give you a place that you can feel like home eventually, and I'm like, I just love that for right now, this was a victory across all fronts. So I thought that was beautiful. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Jilan does now that she's lost Mia. Maybe she'll try and find another way to come after Russell, or maybe she might decide to kind of stick around in Nikki's life for the time being. We'll see how that works. We'll see how that all pans out. But for now, things are looking good. Things are looking up. So obviously they can't and will not stay that way forever. But definitely going to be interesting to ultimately see where all of this ends up taking us going forward into the next episode. But really, that's all I'm going to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.